around this time, every Friday morning, we catch up with our resident film reviewer, Stratford-upon-Avon's James Luxford. He's the reviewer for the Radio Times and the Metro newspaper, picks out 3 films worthy of our attention over the weekend. James, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I bet Stratford looked gorgeous, doesn't it, this morning?
It's absolutely wonderful. Just had an early morning walk down by the river. It's absolutely lovely.
Beautiful. Very envious. So 3 picks for our attention over the weekend, starting with, it's been a while since you've done one of these, James, something that's actually on in the cinema.
Fantastic, isn't it? In cinemas from today, Summerland. Gemma Arterton plays a wartime writer who is forced to face her past when a young evacuee comes to live with her.
Is this Miss Lamb, your new guardian?
There's been a mistake.
No?
You've got the wrong house.
Alice Lamb, Dune Cottage.
Yes, but...
In your girlfriend.
No, you don't. I don't want him.
You can't refuse. You had a letter.
No, I didn't.
You must have. What did I tell you? You've all got to do our bit.
So you take him. I'm working.
I have 4 of my own.
More fool you. You should have been more careful.
I know nothing about this movie. It's the first I've heard of it, and already I'm intrigued, James.
It's a really lovely film, independent British movie, and I don't know if it's an advantage, but a side effect, I suppose, of all of the big movies being sort of moved to later in the year is that these independent films you might not have seen or had the space to see normally, get the spotlight, and I liked it a lot. The premise is familiar. I think we've always seen sort of tea time dramas a bit like this. An evacuee goes to someone who they initially don't get on, but they warm to each other. But it's about how the characters develop, particularly Gemma Arterton, who is sensational. And as I said, I think there's a real opportunity to watch something different at the cinema right now, and this is a really good choice.
Summerland in cinemas across Coventry and Warwickshire this weekend. To the telly then, and tomorrow afternoon on BBC Two for next one.
An absolute classic. Saturday, 1:30, BBC Two. It's The Railway Children, the classic 1970s drama about a group of siblings who move to Yorkshire when their father is falsely imprisoned.
It was like a great dragon tearing by.
A dragon's house looks like that tunnel. I never thought we'd ever get so near to a train as this.
It's better than toy engines, isn't it?
Don't know. It's different. It seems so odd to see all of a train. It's so tall. I've always seen them cut in half by platforms. I wonder if that train's going to London. London's where Daddy is.
We don't know that, Phil.
He might be.
And that scene at the end where a dad comes out on the platform, and I'm just thinking about it now. I could well up in tears. James, it's just, isn't it? It's emotional. It's beautiful. It's, well, The Railway Children.
It is just a gorgeous classic weepy. It's of course the launch of the career of Jenny Agutter, who you just heard there, and it has a legacy of being one of the greatest family films because of that sincerity, the nostalgia, the moving story. As you say, everyone who sees it, I think, gets a little lump in their throat just towards the end. Terrific movie.
And I've got to move on because otherwise I'm going to crack up with that. Let's go on to this. And again, this is probably, in terms of book adaptations, arguably one of the better ones. This one.
Yes, on Saturday, 9 p.m, Channel 4, it's Gone Girl. Ben Affleck stars as a man who finds himself at the focus of a media storm following the disappearance of his wife, played by Rosamund Pike.
We were happy pretending to be other people. We were the happiest couple we knew. And what's the point of being together if you're not the happiest? But Nick got lazy. He became someone I did not agree to marry. He actually expected me to love him unconditionally. Then he dragged me, penniless, to the navel of this great country and found himself a newer, younger, bouncier, cool girl.
Amazing. And you see the twists and the turns in this one, don't you? It's a really well-made film.
very much so. It's a great thriller. It just keeps you guessing throughout, as you say. It's as the pieces come together, you're just on the edge of your seat. Rosamund Pike, who you just heard there, is fantastic, sort of telling the story through flashbacks of the relationship. If you've not seen it, it's a great movie to just sort of I just watch at the edge of your seat on a Saturday night. Terrific thriller. David Fincher made films like Seven and Fight Club, so you know what to expect from him. I remember when this was out in the cinemas, there was a voting poll as to what you think the end was going to be, and it's one of those movies. It's one of those. If you haven't seen it, you're going to just be guessing and guessing, and probably still be wrong-footed.
It's on After the Watershed, we should say, so definitely not one to watch with the kids, but Saturday night, 9 o'clock, Channel 4 for Gone Girl. James, thanks so much, and we'll speak again on Monday with some tips of stuff to watch next week. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
James Luxford, whose movies you can read reviews of in the Metro newspaper and the Radio Times for you every week in Stratford-upon-Avon. 28 minutes past 9. We're almost at the point where we break into our half hour of hits, but